It's also biblical. So as I want to thank the host for coming up with this initiative, and we believe that by the time we leave, we shall be changed. And for the youth out there, it's your time to tune in and listen to these wise words from this meeting. So without wasting time, I'm going to call Asigile Adonia, the team leader, Live a Dream, to come and give us opening remarks.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Manj Clinton. I work with Allen Interiors, Kabohe branch. I'm also happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Once again, thank you so much, the modulator. I don't know where I can start from. Our guest speaker, our host, Uncle Herbert, all guest speakers, all speakers that have been invited for this cause, our elders that are in this place that have come to share with us the knowledge that we yearn for, our friends, businessmen that are in this place, students, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Standing before you is Sigiri Adonia. I am a fifth born out of 6 from deep in the Berere, Sinjiro district. I am done with my law course, 4 years waiting graduation and also LDC. I have gone to school like any other student can go, and I thank God for that. And I thank God for the favor He has put on me, for the different places I've gone to and different people I've met. I'm trying to lay a ground such that I can at least find where to begin, because my shoes are too small to stand here and share. And so, given that background, I have had a desire, basing from where I was raised, the people I have seen. I think in the sub-county, if I'm not the second, I am the 3rd student that has done law. Every time I go back home, I see young boys who don't continue with secondary school because maybe girls are better safe in school than if boys go there. When I am going to some district in Cavalry, there's a place called Chikona. We have 80% of the people there being boys parking called Chikona in parking Matoke going to Kampala. If you visited the streets, statistics have it that the biggest number of people there are the boys. Suicide cases increasing in Uganda still are the boys. Ladies that are here, we are sorry to say, dropouts today that are increasing from school are boys. People that are failing to finish school are still boys. Recently, MUBS admitted 1,400 in year 1. I think it was 14,000, and boys covered about 20%. I mean, that is the background of where one day I was in my hostel, even though I was somehow into politics, but I created more enemies than friends. But I felt this world needed someone to talk to, someone to have more hope. A brief story that has called for this is a friend that I have lost in years, whom I went to school with. And parents that are here, you will bear me witness. This is a young boy that was very good at literature, but at senior 5, he got friends with a big sugar mummy in one of the suburbs. And we tried as students. I was a student leader. I tried in the capacity of a friend. I tried in the capacity of a leader, but this boy still failed. And teachers always told him, always judged him, always abused him. Even at home, they didn't have any kind words for him. So one day when all that had passed, he got hold of his phone and called me. He was from a bar. When everything had gone amiss, I think he picked sense later and felt he was tired of himself. He called me, Adonia, I want to meet you, not as a head prefect, but as a friend this time round. It was at 8 p.m. I came with 2 boys because I thought I was not safe. So meeting him, he told me, I don't want to see you with anyone. I want you alone. So I told the others to go back. Meeting him, he had 2 knives. He had one knife in the hand. The other one was here. And I thought that was my end story. But when he saw me close, he threw the knives there and he sat down. He asked me to sit down just here. It was in the middle of the school playground at I think it was 8 p.m. Drunk as he was, he started crying. So as he cried, I felt now the fear I had was reducing. And he asked me, Adonia, what can I do when everyone has left me? Even my parent, who had hopes in me, no longer does. And I felt a pain of a boy child. This is a boy that had a sister at Immaculate Heart, where parents would go for visitation, parents would go to check on their academic progress, but a boy child never got this opportunity. And this is a background where I live a dream, that we need to have a generation where boys shall live for a purpose. That boys will no longer be seen as men when they are still young, but they are vulnerable of any kind of circumstance that they face, and they can lose it in life. So big men, big ladies that are in this place, I draw my inspiration from that we need a generation for a purposed boy child. I thank God that a few months ago, I think it was around May, June, I got connected to my brother, Andrew Chamagelo, who calls me Adonai. I don't know how he picked interest, but when I sent him a message, he gave me a call directly in his busy schedule, and I shared with him. He showed 100% interest, and he's in Mbarara because of a small boy from Isinjiro, from I don't know. I thank God that you're here. 2 weeks ago, Uncle Herbert was on Man Cave, still on X. And after that sharing, I sent him a WhatsApp as well. He picked interest, and immediately we started catching up, and we are here. He told me, I want us to have this discussion, and we are here because of that small online interaction. Thank you so much, Uncle Herbert. Or the people that have come, Uncle Dean, thank you. He was my patron when I was guild president, and he has been my father at campus since then. All the people that I'm connected to here, gentlemen and ladies that I'm here, I am sorry. We are not fighting against feminism. We are not fighting against women emancipation, but we are fighting for a cause that, if given less attention, in 20 years, we shall not have men. I am a public speaker. I have visited schools to train public speech. I want to make it clear to you that we no longer have boys in debates and public speech. Do you know why? Because they no longer have that self-esteem. Because they no longer have the confidence that they can speak. Boys in schools do not have platform. You go and news anchors, he's a news anchor. Most interviews are passed by ladies. Do you know why? Because in our primary schools and secondary schools, senior women would put aside small girls and tell them, you are better than a boy. And for us, they would talk to them and we could keep in class. And later on, girls would come boosting with that confidence, but no one would talk to a boy. And this is where we are headed, that no one still talks to a boy. Where are we heading to? And so this is the discussion. My dream is seeing this discussion widening to greater heights. When we were entering, one gentleman here said, "Thank you so much for bringing these discussions to Mbarara. That whenever we see them in Kampala, we think about the costs, where to sleep, and we cannot get there, but we always yearn for them." And we are just, belief has given us decoration. You never know where this is going to stop. You never know how many souls it is going to save. You never know how many souls it is going to touch. And it is your responsibility that your word, your cup will fill someone's mind and future. And you're no longer going to be stressed because of the street thieves, because of the thugs, because of the street children down there. And so it is a discussion, financial literacy to begin with, that we need to understand the impact, how we can use money, how we can get money. If Mr. Kafoko is here, how has he gotten there? If maybe the manager is here for Millennium, how has he gotten there? Our parents are no longer available. We cannot have these discussions with our parents. Then what next? If our parents are not available, who is going to be available? The sugar mummies are very available. Can I repeat that? They are available to give us the money we need. They are available to give us even the time that we need if our parents have not given us the time. And so it is the cause of these discussions that we break the fear, we break the depression, we break all that we've been in the small circles and small enclosed rooms to have a bigger discussion for a purpose generation. I end by introducing him. Please leave a dream. The team that I've been, the small team that has managed to come, please stand up. Yes, these are the gentlemen and ladies that I've been working with together in schools, and now tomorrow having a big day. If you're here and you can reach out, please feel free to come at BSU so that we can celebrate. That said and done, I praise the Lord for this day. I praise the Lord for a dream, for a vision that came at 5 a.m. and wrote down in my notebook that we have had this kind of discussion. May God richly bless you.
Thank you, Adonia. I don't have a lot to say because those that are listening in and those that are viewing and us who are present here this evening, this has been a well laid out welcoming remarks. And as I had said, we have concentrated on much the girl child. We have actually neglected the boy child. And almost in his closing remarks, he said the sugar mummies are up for the young generation. But if we come up with such talks, financial literacy is key to the youth now. If you look at the generation today, the youth, they want things that are already done. If Herbert passes the street and you see someone of 18 or 21, you'll say, I want to drive that car. This guy is in his first year, or the guy is on the street, but he's telling you how he wants Herbert's car. Where do they end up? Street boys, street gangs, to make sure that they achieve or they acquire such properties very fast. But they don't know how Herbert has also thrived, what he has gone through. Mr. Fred Kafoko will be telling us what he went through. So others might think maybe he was born lucky. Our parents don't have our time. Now you can imagine, I'm a father of 3 boys. What time do they see me? My boss is here. Herbert is a board member of Millennium Circle. I have a lot of targets. I will leave at 7. You reach home. These days they sleep at 8 because they have to wake up at 5:30, 6 to go to school. We don't have time for our kids. We, even the young men now, we are also into the lavish or lovely life. We want to see things, but we have also not sat down with our kids to put them to the right places. But I believe as we start such gatherings, I want to thank you, Adonia. You're a young man. Some of us are older than you, but I see my friend said you have a vibe. Indeed, it's a vibe. If you connect with Chamagero, you connect with Herbert, then the sky is the limit. I'm going to request the next person on the agenda. We are going to have the first speaker, and that is Uncle Herbert. I'm just saying Uncle Herbert for the first time because I saw it on the paper. Excuse me, sir. The platform is yours, and thank you for hosting us and for being a nice person. Thank you.
Good evening, men. Good evening, ladies. Now, the ladies out there, we said you are welcome. But our attention is to make sure that the men are here. So I'm really very excited and delighted to see you all come to this space, which we normally don't visit a lot. But for us who have been on the X space, we know what this means. And for us to host you, it takes more than passion. Okay? Now, I'm a father of 4 people, 2 girls and 2 boys. And I'm a grandfather of 3 boys, 2 are twins. Now, you can imagine the anxiety I normally have when I see many boys struggling, not just because they lack something, but because they lack someone who can touch them. So the purpose of us coming here is to really understand the dynamics around that issue of a young man being stable, being confident, and be in a position to take responsibility sometime in the future. Now, for the viewers out there, I just want to start by introducing Omuntu wa wansi, Andrew Chamagero. Please come here. And then the people you came with, you will introduce them as well. But first come and greet people out there who have been waiting since 5 o'clock.
Good to be here. Good evening, men. Good evening, men. So today I woke up at 2 a.m. and I've not had sleep yet. I've been running between meetings and work. We serve a very good country. But I had to be here because Adonia reached out, and when my elder reached out, I said it's imperative that I be here. It's not by accident that we are here. I don't believe in accidents. Some of you believe in God. I believe in the law of attraction. I will explain it later. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you. But
I came with a financial coach. Please come. This is a financial coach. She's called Majo Nantambi. She's very good in structuring businesses and finance for families and corporate entities, and even men who have money who just don't know how to save it. She's an expert on that. I came with my PA, a young, strong woman. She's called Zion Nantali. And my driver is on the other side. It's an honor to be here. Greetings from my beautiful wife. My 2 children told me, please come back home tomorrow.
wow.
So I'm only here for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Okay, so I would like to introduce my wife. Allen, please come. And my daughter in love. Okay? So Allen is there, Hiza is there, she's a wife to my son, the Narong I was talking about. So this evening, first of all, I want to thank the people who put in money to make sure that we can have this event. Ahaka Cottages is a new brand that is in town, very vibrant, and we are happy to receive guests all the time. So together with Allen Interiors, which Allen, my wife, manages. This is our business, and we want to demonstrate where possible that everything is possible, starting from zero, really very zero, okay? And here we are. But most importantly, to Millennium Circle 2012, Ronald and your colleague and the entire team that is behind you for making us, and especially giving us money to host these guests that have come from Kampala, you know. So please, you can thank them. And also to the Believe team, you know, that have decorated this place. They are here. But also to Sima Bridal, she gave us the tables and the chairs. To APS, Ankole People's Circle, this man is not here. You know him, okay? Agre, very vibrant. But I know he will be with us. But most importantly, because we are speaking and everyone is, you know, listening and seeing us, first of all, to Kato Disani for the entire public address system that you see. His music is here, his team is here, and he did not ask for a single coin, okay? That shows you how important it is. And also, very importantly, to the media group, led by Revival TV, which is the newest brand in town. And luckily, I'm the chairperson of Revival TV and Revival Radio. So I'm happy for the first time to host them here, but also to Sky TV, together with my friend Yedidia, who made his team to be available here and have this event relayed. So for the majority of the people out there, you will not miss. You will continue to follow the events as they happen every minute. So I want to spend few minutes so that I do not take time and squeeze you because you are eagerly waiting to hear from Chamagero. When Adonia came up, essentially he was inviting me for tomorrow's event. These guys are so enterprising, very creative, very surprising. They are convening, I think, 8 or 11 universities tomorrow who are coming to BSU. And these young people, a group from IU is Islamic University in Uganda. They are on the road and they are coming here. We are going to have dinner with them, okay? And other universities, you know, MAST, Kabare, you know, BSU, of course, they are the hosts, and the others that will be converging. So the purpose was to ensure that me, Chamagero, who was their chief guest, be in position to meet the young people from universities tomorrow at Bishop Stewart. But then we said, not everyone who is here is likely to be at the university. The topics are slightly different, but the issue rotates around young men, money, boys, all these things. So we wanted now to become the icebreaker for the event that happens tomorrow. Okay? It will be very huge. It will be well covered. But for now, this is an opportunity that I crafted myself. And I stole something. But we say, Namahise Nyungaga. Okay. Andrew, you told me some people, they have already hijacked him. They say he's camouflaging, he's a real Muhima. This Andrew you see here. Although we know he's really very son of Kabaka, so we cannot doubt that. So, let me start like this. For the years that Jesus lived on earth here, he did many things. But what is more surprising is that he never built a house. He never set up a home. But what he did was to build men. He built people. You know his followers? How many are they? 11? 12. Okay? Now, when I was reflecting about that, I thought that the biggest thing that some of us can do having lived some of these years, we are still called ourselves middle-aged men, is to build other fellow men. Okay? We can have the buildings, we can have these things, we can have the money, we can have the land, we can have the assets, we can have everything. But for me, I can tell you, and Andrew agrees, and the other people who are there, our commitment is to build other men. Okay? Now, if you want to be part of this journey, I'm appealing to you. Please stand out and be with us. Okay? And you will see what will happen. And I will start with a few things. The primary school where I studied, Chibingo Primary School, I have just been selected to become the chairman of the school management committee. It was a collapsing primary school. You know why? Because all the politics in this country are focusing on secondary schools and universities. Nobody is paying attention to what is happening to our rural primary schools. Now, in this school, in primary 7, there are only 6 boys and the rest are girls. And I can imagine that in my village and the other villages, there are so many other boys who should be there, but they are not. What's the problem? They have dads, they have fathers. What's happening to the fathers? They don't care. Whatever they are doing, no one knows. And of course, as Collins has said, the fathers are not even in church. Okay? So where are they hiding? So we want to make sure, objective number 1, that we build the men who can be in position to go and build families. The other thing that I want to tell you is that on our Twitter space, Mancave, UG, we have people who are extremely very passionate about masculinity. And for me, I talk about positive, traditional masculinity. There can be traditional masculinity that is negative, but I want to make sure that people understand the positiveness in being a man. Okay? So that one is what is missing. Boys freaking out of schools. And recently you must have seen something on the social media running around where an MP in Parliament was lamenting that they visited remand homes around the country. And there were only few girls, like 1 or 2, 3 in each of them, and the rest are boys. Of course, when you go to prisons, whom do you find? Majority. They are men. So when we are looking for men and you can't easily see them, we are not going to blame those who are making a living and trying to find money through border and other businesses. But we are seeing men in criminality, in behaviors that cannot shape them to become leaders in their own families, to become men and children grow up and saying, he is my dad, or he is my father. Okay? So, if that is happening, if you and me cannot come and support this struggle, then it means there's something going wrong. And you don't expect our politicians to do anything about this. In fact, I even believe that these politicians, they feel like the fewer we are, the better as men. Okay? They don't want competition. They will harass you out of everything. Economics, politics, and now we cannot accept to be socially excluded. Now, let's talk about money. The word financial freedom is the highest level if you go to define the issues around financing. It is the highest level of achievement you can attain if you are ever looking for money. Okay? So that's the best thing. It means someone has the freedom to do anything on earth. They can travel, they can eat, they can dine, they can sleep, they can do anything within their means. That's what it means. But when I was checking, I looked at something to do with financial independence. I think you guys bankers, you will tell us. I saw something to do with financial security. I saw something to do with financial stability. All those are different levels in which men, if you want to dive deep into some of these things, you will understand the differences. Okay? Now, I cannot say that I have reached the point of financial freedom. No. Okay? But at least I'm sure of financial stability. I'm a little bit sure about even independence. Okay? Because I'm a person who made a decision And I attempted to work with the government, and I said, no, that is it. That was enough. 1 year was enough. I tested it. That was it. But to make that decision, for us as a family, together with Alan, we were struggling to find another decent job for ourselves. She had a job. I had a job. Both jobs collapsed. Just in a blink of an eye. And yet we had a family here to feed. Okay? And they were young families. That was around 1995. That's when we made a decision that we can do business, start small, the smallest you can ever imagine, the smallest in Barara Makanising market. I remember the first financial company to give us some loan was called Eklof. I think Eklof is called a community loan fund, something like that. They were based in Kampala. Okay? I don't know whether they still exist. Now there are so many circles and financial institutions, they have overshadowed that one. Eh? Omuchara Nkoba, you know, Nkoba Konen Mwishkogwa Chamugorani, that's the lady that introduced us that loan fund. And we started from groceries, years passed, we changed, she changed. For me, I got other jobs, but she was able to persist. That level of a woman's resilience, I would really, I couldn't imagine that if I was a man, I would go through what she went through. Okay? But women are very strong and resilient when it comes to issues that touch them and push them on the wall. Now for the men, we freak out very quickly. We give up. We start going into booze and other stuff. Okay? But let me tell you, when you go, I think it is in the Bible somewhere in the book of Timothy 1, when they said, money is what? The love of money is what? Is the source of all evils. To be honest with you, there are certain things that the Bible pulls out. And if you are not careful, you might take it so literally. But the point here is that Jesus said you cannot serve two masters, isn't it? Okay? You can't serve money. You can't serve all these other things that God was able to create and able to serve God. So you had to make a choice. Okay? I think that one is in Matthew. Okay? So you can't serve two masters. You just have to serve one. But when you listen to other preachers, the way they interpret that and they take it forward, it's like we are not supposed to chase money. And yet everything we need here, even the church itself, it needs money. A church that doesn't have money is collapsing. Now, the few men who dare to be in church, and you see these days how the church is conducting its business, there are certain things that make us very uncomfortable. And I think some of the reasons why men pull out is because of that pressure. You get me? Some of you have been to our rural churches. Here in town, we don't do these things. Some of the churches is a pure market. So if the church is very shrewd and strategic to find money, so for you who is bringing money, what is the source of income, part of which that you are bringing to church? You get my point? So these are the things that we have to interrogate and understand, that the Bible is saying we shouldn't look for money. We are here to look for money, and we must get it. And the opportunities are increasing every day, and I'm very sure that people won't be disappointed. So there is even a book which says you have, and you have to get some of these things very clear. Some of us no longer read books, but there is a book called Think and Grow Rich. Okay? And it is a multi-million selling book for the Americans and other people who understand some of these things. When they get such books, they buy them. This is different from this other guy who had this other story book. He said how to make money, and then he needed money to print the book. Okay? He's telling us in his book how to make money, but he doesn't have money to print what? To print the book. So this is a little bit different. But I just want to let you know, for many of you who are strategic these days, to understand where money is coming from. Globally, I'm saying globally, there are about 6 line areas where people around the world are making money, including here in Uganda. Number 1 on the list It is the financial services. Call it banking industry, call it anything. Number one on the list. If you are looking for money, this is the area that is top lucrative globally. Number two, IT. I see many students going to universities here studying IT and they start looking for jobs and they are stuck with their lives. Have you seen them? They are even regretting why they did such courses. But digitalization and IT services are one of the most things right now that are able to bring money in people's pockets. When omuntu katijire numureba aba masako okuba kutaranze senene okuba kutange senene. These guys with IT, they have revolutionized the banking industry, the money transfer, services. I remember when I was studying in Europe almost 2 decades ago, we had to go to a bank or post office to use, there was a money transfer thing. I've forgotten the name. Then you put the money there, and then you go back, and then they will let the people back home the money transfer, something like that. Okay? Yeah? Western Union. That's the thing. So these are the guys. Since we opened Haka cottages here, they have been streaming here, showing us the different ways in which we can manage our payments so that customers don't have to bring cash. And they really don't bring cash. So people with Visa cards, or their own credit cards, or the mobile money, merchant codes, Momo codes, FlexPay, all these things. Every time you use it to send money, there is a drop of money out of that transaction that they take. You get it? The third one is real estate industry. Ejo things za kujigambo bingi because haba mwe hata mlioko mbona na mataka. A construction industry. The one that really intrigues me most right now is the pharmaceutical industry. Pharmaceutical industry. The most beautiful shining shops in towns, in the cities right now are pharmacies. Do you know why? You people. You just walk through and drive through towns, but you don't understand what is happening. Literally, we have moved away from eating food to eating drugs. So what people do is to run to the nearest pharmacy and buy. They do self-treatment, or some have prescriptions from doctors, but the most important thing is these pharmacies, the pharmaceutical industry, we don't know the manufacturers because I don't think Uganda manufactures anything here. But the guys are minting millions and millions of dollars. And the naive, they are here with all their social behaviors, bad eating characteristics, everything that we imagine. We go and have our fun, and then we take all our money to the pharmacy. Now, at my age, I will definitely have certain conditions in my health. But for you, young men, you would be donating that money to the pharmacist. That's what it means. We'll definitely have to discuss this. And the hospitals, as you can imagine, if the government doesn't look after them, people are running to pharmacies. The other one, education services. You know, all our education sector has been commercialized. Now everyone is going to private sector schools. Okay? Those guys are minting money. There is even some people here from that area. The other one, of course, the sixth is agriculture and food industry. Every day, people must eat. Now, these are not easy ways. There are so many others. But for me, I've just picked the top 6 that I have been able to read. Let me quickly go to, as I go to conclude this. One of the things that is really making us stagnant as men is lack of financial discipline. What is our behavior? What is our behavior when it gets to money? And this is the trick and my personal testimony. Every time I would get my salary, I would be excited to spend the money I have received. As a young man who is working, but I had a family very quickly, I can tell you it was a struggle. So my dear wife, Allen here, would ask, so where is the money? But yeah, I got the money. As a man, yeah. So where is the money? So I can't tell the story how the money disappeared. Okay? So as a Christian, I had to come clean and say, I think I can't manage myself with money. And what I did was to hand over my account to her. So that if I need money, I have to go to her, and then she gives me the money I need. Because if it stays with me, they would have zero. That was the truth. And she was able to manage me and my money, and then the family was able to see money. Now, for the majority of men out there, I can tell you, it is a struggle in homes. For the young married guys who are here, who is Aaron? You have said how many years? 2 years. You are not even 300 days, okay? A woman has an account, a man has an account, no one checks on the other's account, no one signs on the other's account, no one knows how much money is in the other's account. Those are the families we have now. They don't know. For me to be saved and feel very comfortable, I had to handle my first sin of financial discipline. And I handed it to my accountant because she's a professional accountant and she managed it. And I treasure that woman because everything that we have in business, in assets, in everything, is just because of her thinking and her strategy to make sure that we do not become indisciplined. Now, very few men will trust a woman to that level. I can tell you that. And they will come and give their own testimonies. So what is your own problem when it gets to money? Okay? Integrity. A very big word. Integrity deficits in this country are the highest in the globe. I can tell you. In this country here, with all the fake leaders that we have no one to learn from the word integrity. To be honest with yourself. That is a very big issue for me. And men, please, if you want to have financial freedom, come out. The other one, debts. Debts. Men are borrowing money left, right, and center. The circles that are here are making billions of money because of financial discipline of majority of men. So if you are out there and you are struggling on how to manage money and you think by borrowing is going to be a solution to your problem, you better go back and sort it out. Now, there are certain things that are so critical, especially when we talk about the bankers here and the way they do things. 4 behaviors or 5 that define who a man is when it gets to money. Number 1 is a man who saves money. We call them savers. The moment every money that you get and you decide to save part of that, okay? There is even something to do with save. I think it was this guy, Warren Buffett, who when he said, save before you what? You spend, okay? But many of us first spend and then save the balance, which is like 5%. The rest is eaten, okay? Now, be careful. A very disciplined man, he saves first before he spends. The second disciplined man, especially those who have started now saving some money, is a big decision on where to save, to invest the money. You have saved it. And what is interesting, and this is what I'm seeing, especially when I started joining Millennium Circle, okay? These guys have taught me a lot of things because I learned very quickly. People decide to keep the money on savings account. And it stays there for years. When you look at the interest that you receive on any saving account, how much is it? These days, it's not even more than 4%. 5%. And your money is there. When you look at the other options of investing your money, they give more than 10% or average return. Whether you go to unit trust, whether you go to treasury and bills, Whether you got fixed deposit, isn't it above? This money is more than 10%. So you ask yourself, why, in the first place, having saved your money, you decided to keep it on a saving account? Why don't you take this money where it can multiply? Now, back in the 90s, early 2000, for us, the only solution we thought about investing our money was to buy rentals, to build rentals. Now, those ones are no longer fashionable. To be honest with you, we have tried it, and it generates less than 10% of the total value of the property that we have, the income that we get from rentals. And for that, it's no longer a viable investment. But for majority of you men, what do you think? Get a plot, put rentals. Now, when you start calculating the repairs, the workers, URA, whatever, all these things combined, and the amount they give you, you do the mathematics, you will not even get 10% out of your investment. So where should you put the money if you are smart enough? Okay? For me, recently, I woke up. I even had to go to NSSF because I am of age, and pulled all my money and I started investing wisely. And that is buying shares. When you buy shares in banks, in circles, they pay you much more than even the fixed deposit that you can see. And for that, I thank so much the Millennium Circle people who have been able to put up this kind of thing, you know. And you see even people who are members of the circle struggling. They don't want to buy shares. And yet shares give them more money. They don't want. Okay? The money that you buy shares is equal to the money that you buy a land, a plot of land, and build rentals. But you'll start reaping more money through dividends, which are not now taxed. Can you imagine that? No taxation on dividends. The president declared that circles are making money. And someone is struggling, building, stealing materials, doing this, then after that, then the rental income, then property tax, then whatever tax, everything tax, just because you put up a small rental somewhere. But the guy who has invested in Abajo Circle, he's just sitting in his house, waiting at the end of the year, they clear the dividends, the guy is just reaping. We call that financial freedom. When you can get your money, even when you don't step out of the what? Of the house. But people who have English in their heads, the elites, you people who are sitting here, you just go there and speak, and you see them on Twitter, you see them on WhatsApp. The guys can write, and they try to prove even something that. Why? Because they're ignorant. No one teaches these things in the universities. I don't know who teaches economics or business or whatever in these universities. We are even surprised to find people who have never done a single company, owning a company. He is an expert in the university teaching our children. What do you expect? Someone doesn't run even a single company, not registered in his name or his own brand, but is running. Why don't you then take Fred Kafoko, who has so many brands here, okay? Then he goes to business school and he teaches all our children how to make money, how to do business. Reverend, you said you were a dean at BSU. In the business school, please, do not kill our children. They go there, study, and come back and get stuck. They don't know where to start from. They don't have any financial education from the universities. But everyone is an expert from notes, from theory, from anything. You know? So some of these things we need to learn very quickly. The other third behavior is being a spender. Now, this one kills me most. Recently, Robert Kabushenga, he was somewhere, you know, he makes some few things on Twitter. And then he said, there is a viral video of his that has been around for some time, when he talks about consumerism. Do you know consumerism? People are so excited every day to spend money. They spend money just to be happy. Even the money they don't have, they want to spend it. So they would rather go and borrow or ask a neighbor or a friend or anything, send me money, send me money. But the whole purpose is just getting excited and consume the money, save nothing. So for you, the consumers, and I want men who are here to be extremely very careful with your loved ones, with your spouses. Okay? You look at a lady, you start from the hair to the nails, you count to millions. You look into her bank account, there is zero. Okay? If you want to be serious, yes, there is love, but the most important thing is, how do you live in love? And tomorrow, the marriage is no more. Why? Because the expectations have not been met. Why? Because you haven't bought the things she likes. Why? Because you don't even understand what that means. You cannot impress any human being to the best satisfaction. Forget. Until you agree, you and your wife, you have to make sure each one makes money. What do you bring on table? So this business of being people who are going to consume, no. Now there are then men who are extremely very lazy. And for them, as long as they can go and eat, go back and drink, go back and dance, come back and sleep, again wait for lunch, go back and drink, go back. Hey, my dear, how do you survive in this world? Andrew and his team have been managing the whole issue around mental health, emotional health. Men are crumbling. Depression is killing young people. Why? Because they cannot meet social, public expectations. Why? Because they don't have the means to be out there. Of course, now I don't want to talk about the daters and the gamblers. Those ones, they are also there. It's their behavior. Because the moment you fail to manage yourself from consumption, you will start going into debts. From debts, you will end up in gambling. The moment you go into gambling, then you are finished. The next thing we see is that you have completely changed and you need to see a psychiatrist. Now, for all the health conditions that used to get our grandfathers in the 80s and 70 years, they are coming down to 40 and 30, and young men are struggling with health conditions. Diabetes, high blood pressure, kidney failure, all these things. The cancers are coming younger and younger and younger all the time. We don't know. So I want to end on this note, that you cannot secure your financial freedom when the money that goes into your pockets, in your wallets, in your bank accounts is leaking. If you have a house and all the water that you can tap in that house is ever leaking through the pipes and all the possible ways, don't expect to have sufficient water. You'll always start struggling. Struggle, real struggle. I don't dress to impress anyone. I don't eat to impress anyone. No. Just be yourself. Andrew taught me something very interesting. Self-care. Men, self-care. There are men who have forgotten themselves completely. And of course, issues are going to come, and they will be saying, I have a family, I have brothers, I have siblings, I have uncles, I have all these relatives. Everyone is looking at me. It's only me who is working. Now, the point that I want to end here saying, please, let us think about multiple sources of income for you to avoid stress and depression from one source of income, most likely, which is a salary. And that kills most of the young men. And how do you liberate yourself from that? The experts are here. Okay? Please, mind your health. Mind your body. I can tell you, there are two things that kill us, men, here. Number one, anything that you take through your mouth unregulated or in higher amounts, you will die. Through your mouth. The second way, anything around your body here. Here. When the body changes and the hormones changes and everything changes, there are two things. You get life or you get death. And for majority of the men, They eat too much. Down there, they do too much. When you mix the two, your grave is very close. That's where the money goes. And then the rest of us will suffer to bury you. These days they talk about decent burials. Okay? And we spend all those hours sitting and listening all these testimonies from all the gangs that were around you, called your friends. I call them gangs because they don't add value. Do you know, young men who are here, do you know why majority of rich men pretend to be poor? Do you know even the way they dress? When they pass through the street, you don't even look there because they are not dressing your design. You call them design clothes. Eh? Bwakanyama obusate obuhare bwona otonekero tubununano bwa biceps weno lyaho weno li eh? Ko mugiga wena arabaho tokuchumangu yajarata yarabaho. Rich people pretend to be poor. Then you see poor people pretending to be rich. You can't even imagine. You just see the Pharaoh, you know he only has what he's putting on his body, but he's pretending to be what? To be rich. And they fall into the traps of things that are luxurious. Their age hasn't reached. You are talking about the car. I mean, if I'm going to buy a 300 million car, it means I have already secured assets that can support that car. But if you are going to get a loan to buy a car, there is a colleague of mine who crashed it after getting a loan, and the following day, that week, he got excited, went out to drink, and he was in the northern bypass in Kampala, around Bwaise. The car was upside down, having knocked another car. Why do you pretend? Who are you trying to impress? These daughters of Eve or sisters or whatever, for them, that's not even what they are looking at. Majority of the girls look at men with brains, men with goals, men with plans, men with strategies, men with, thinking capacity. They are not looking the way you have come to park around their father's house. That's not what they are looking at. So please, do not try to impress anyone. Impress yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to end here. And thank you for listening. If this is not enough, let me call it Andrew. Andrew has traveled this world. Andrew has met the biggest man on here in Uganda and the smallest. He even calls himself Umuntu wa Wansi. Is this man Umuntu wa Wansi the way he looks? Eh? Is this man wa Wansi here? Aha. He's not. But this is his identity. But the thing I love about him, he is able to throw nuggets. You call them nuggets. Okay? And pick what you can, leave what you can't take. But you will definitely get it. Okay? Now, for us, this is what we want to hear. This is what we want to know. Please, here's the microphone if you want to sit.
Let's give Elder Herbert a round of applause. Let's clap for him as men. So we can go away with the stands for purposes of those watching. I'm very happy to be in the West. Yes, they've always said I'm a muhima, uchema girono muhima oguna witu. Konkanka jirangu. I am a typical Muganda, but I've traveled heavily. And I have a national outlook in everything I do. I don't care whether you're from the East or from the West, as long as you are an African person, you're my brother, you're my sister. We have had quite a lot from Harvard. For him, he's a little sensitive. He's old. One thing that takes our money is sex. Just turn to the man next to you, tell him you're sex. He turn the next man to you, tell him the biggest thing that is taking in money is sex. So you called me, and the women who are here, I don't care whether you're listening or you're not. I want us as men to have a very honest conversation with our money. What's your relationship with your money first? Think about it. Just in a hypothetical way, what's your relationship with your money? If you've never answered that question, you'll be as poor as you'll ever be. My biggest interview I've ever done in my journalistic work was an interview with Melinda Gates. And I asked her a question. Said, how do I become rich? She said, it's a wrong question. Walk with me. We walked for 5 minutes, and she said, ask your question again. Ask her, how do I become rich? She said, try tomorrow. I didn't get the question. And when she was having breakfast, I approached her, and security had cleared me. I told her, now I have a question. How do I become wealthy? She said, now I'll give you the answer. And she said, impact people. Simple. If you want to make money, impact people. Herbert and I have worked heavily with international organizations that deal a lot with family planning and population. I'm on the Population Balance International. I'm the only African and the only youngest. The next one to my age on that board is 55 years of age. And all this is entirely about people. But there is one thing I want us again to take a moment and reflect. Look at yourself as your family's only silver bullet. So in your village, you have your uncles, you have your aunties, you have all these other siblings. They are all dependent on one. You're here with me today. Just imagine how much life you're putting at stake with how you're spending. Think about it. If we have that, we won't sleep. My wife always argues with me when I say I sleep for only 4 hours, and I wake up to think because I have a target to retire in the next 10 years. Why? Because I want to live my life. I want to live not like Herbert. Herbert spends a lot more time here. If he's traveling to China to buy new stuff. He's not enjoying his money. I want to enjoy my money. Like I go on holiday, systems are working. I am not picking any call. That's the generation where I come from. His generation is looking at wealth in a different perspective. But imagine the people at your home, in your village, your entire clan is dependent on you, James, who is at Signature every Saturday. Think about it. And that's how I look at life. In your entire family, they say, we sent our son, he went, he studied, Akamarananka, LDC. Now he's a very prominent lawyer in Mbarara or Kampala or Africa. Look at how you behave versus their expectations. Let me just send it further to take your mind to understand the power of finance. How many of you here can track 7 generations from where you come from? 7. You can track your father, your grandfather, your great-grandfather, your great-great-grandfather, your great-great, and the great-great-grandfather. Who can find that? By show of hands. So most of us step on the 3rd generation, right? Have you ever taken time to audit your generation, where you come from? You ask yourself, where did we come from? What did my great grandfather have? And what addition did my father add versus you? It's only Asians who have the 7-generation model. That they must track 7 generations from where they come from to find their path of money. Now we have what they call new money syndrome in Uganda. And you can tell new money people on the road. They hoot a lot. They make a vayo. Tamanyi vuga. You don't know what they're driving a womb and they're hooting to a 7,000 cc kind of car. If you're not informed, you'll be in an altercation with them. If you're informed, you get to know their first generation money owner in their family. So their discipline will tell. First generation money owners in families, they are pompous. When they come home and you have a service or you have a birthday and the budget is 7 million, they will say, close the budget. You know, they give the budget. They're excited to spend. Why? They have never been at this level of money. So while in finance, they will tell you that money, you look for it. I want to disrupt your thinking today, especially with the 7th generation. Guys, just think about it. If you had information of what your 7 generations did before you came to life, how much can you do? Just think about it. If today you can track that my great-grandfather had this, my third great, they had this, and you track it, you'll find who you are today. So some people are poor not because they have not worked so hard, but they come from a lineage of poverty. And the poverty has a viscous cycle. The Catholic Church did a research of how poverty enriches itself among the Africans, and they got to know that it starts from the families where we start from. What was the conversation of money and you when you're growing up? How many of you was beaten when you touched daddy's money? They beat you. Does it shock you that when they tell you big deals of money, you're like, I think Herbert can handle that? Because your first relationship with money was don't touch. And up to today, it's running with you. Some of you are born again, you spend nights in overnights breaking all these curses. My friend, you need to find the pattern. What's your relationship with money? What was your first experience with money? These things, you learn them the more you go up. Elder Herbert asked a question that why do poor people dress as though they are rich? The more you're informed, the more humble you become. When you see someone extremely arrogant and stubborn, they are not informed. The more someone becomes wealthy, the more humble they become, because they have seen life and money is nothing. So for me, I'm at a stage in life where I don't need money. I need relationships. That's what I need. And every time I tell it to my colleagues, they're like, Chamagirotoli is serious. No, because I'm enlightened. Money is an enabler. It will come, but it won't give you happiness. But people, friends, if you can miss anything today about the financial conversation we are having, please note this: invest in relationships. I have known Herbert for over 10 years. And the brother, who is my board chair as well, in my organization, Afande Kasinje, for years. Relationships. The problem we have when we're young, as youth, and you've just gotten the money, the one thing that will take your money will be a woman. When a man has lots of money, even when he's not a believer in God, he will say, where are the women? Women need to be here. Women are designed to be given. But women have one power we don't have as men. Women, they're inherently, divinely gifted to multiply. We are not. You make the money. Mr. Kafok has never told you his matrix, but along the way there is a woman who kept him grounded. Women multiply. You leave 10K at home, you find meat and a very big meal. If I leave you with 10K, you're just going to share it among we are designed differently. You sleep with a woman once, she brings twins, a lifetime. So the time you invest in your wife is directly proportional to how much you have as a house. I keep telling my wife, you have to be more richer than me. And she doesn't know why. Because I just want to retire and travel around the world. But while I'm doing that, I make sure that I empower her with more tools that can track money. All of us who are here, how many of us wrote how much you spent from the time we woke up today? By show of hands. One. And she's a woman. How many of us have spent today money? By show of hands. See? Money has simple principles. To those of you like Reverend Muhanji, Reverend, nice to see you. My first major was theology, but I don't practice. I told my father I wouldn't hold the pressure there. So I decided to go this way. But I wrote a couple of notes here, just bear with me. Those of you who read the Bible, in Acts 19:15, there were some Jewish exorcists who were on the street and they went to cast out the demons. And when they were casting out the demons, they saw one who was in need of deliverance. But the demons in this one said, okay, Jesus, we know. Paul, we know. Who are you? You know that verse? Who are? So how many of you here want $1 million on your account? By show of hands, as men. Don't get, some want 10K, but those who want $1 million on your account. Now, the $1 million will ask you a question. Dangopte, I know. Bitature, I know. Masa Musa, I know. Who are? Do you know the principles of $1 million shilling? Because it hates being alone. It loves being multiplied. Can you multiply? It loves being invested. Can you do that as a man? So while you're up there writing your financial goals and all, but you've not streamlined the relationship with money, money won't stay where it's not valued. Try it one time. Just have your 100K. Don't let it go out. Even when the pressure is very heavy, don't let it go out. Somehow you'll get another 100K. Money loves to be kept, not to be. That is something I learned from a Chinese. He told me, you people are very poor. You eat a lot. You eat a lot. We don't have a relationship with money. Every time it falls in our fold, we just feel like, where is the party? Women in Kampala are no longer praying on Sunday. You know, the devil has a way of keeping people in poverty in a very systematic way. It's on Sunday that they're having baby showers, bridal showers, and branches. They're not at church. It's on Saturdays that we feel the bar is for today, so that tomorrow on Sunday I sleep with my hangover. We are that generation. The Bible says money is the root of all evils. But the same Bible says the riches and the wealth of the earth are all owned by God. Do you know why most Christians are the brokest people in the world? Muslims are richer. In my business, I deal a lot with Muslims because they have integrity with money. Riba. If I give James 100,000 Ugandan shillings and I say you return it on this day, James will tell me stories. Ali will say, Andrew, your money is here. Riba. Their religion teaches them that. Their religion teaches them that there is no tomorrow. Have you noticed how Muslims behave with wealth? Inshallah. How we are doing this tomorrow, he says, Inshallah. They don't procrastinate. But the James, the Andrews, the Jeffreys, in the Christian faith, we always say, Katuchikole incha blood. Katuchikole incha. We actually don't even say Inshallah. We are sure it's going to happen tomorrow. What a waste of a generation. Does it worry you that you're not going to be here in the next 7 generations ahead of you? And just think about it. Why should people 7 generations after you say that we had a father who was here? Why? Tamale Mirundi died today morning. Today morning. And everyone started to remember what he said. Do you know how long we remember you when you're dead? Do you know? Comrades, I'm speaking. We're having a conversation. Do you know how long we remember you? You don't know. You're only remembered for 7 hours. And after that, it's done. If they say Chamagero is dead, the first question is, tuzika wa tuzika di. Wetutukawo ani akola kubyokulya. The world is so fast that as a man, if you don't take time to unplug and think about you, no one is coming. I want to give you clarity on this. Women are created to live as and when you cannot provide enough anymore. They are created to live as and when you can't protect them enough anymore. They are protected to live as and when the world changes. The Herbert's generation has gone. It's safer. Ours, you marry a woman, she's looking at you as a fellow man. It's unique. We are dealing with a different generation of wives you're having. As a man, you need to take time and take a moment backward. In the sub-Saharan Africa, in our civilization, when it was starting before even the colonialists came, it was illegal, and it is still illegal, to make a woman pregnant before you make land pregnant. Before you even say, hey, she looks beautiful, what have you planted? You have 2 wives as a man. Land and the woman who gives you children. And women don't get married to men because you look so good. No. Women get married to an estate. Land. What land do you have? Besides the numbers on Twitter and social, I have followers. I met a young boy the other day. He told me, I'm a TikToker. I said, what do you do? I'm a TikToker. I said, break it down. Tukola video nezitambula nebansasula. And I'm like, so how long are you going to? Chamaga tobiteka munyate ruzungu temuntu nafuya. My question, I was looking for, where is the land? Among the people in the West, your culture says that by 40 years, you must have a house. You must have a house. And there are fools coming with different doctrines saying it doesn't matter whether you have a house or you don't. You just be happy. Such fools are within us. They're riding with us. They speak with us. But think about it. Some of you have children and you've not made the land pregnant yet. You don't. You've never planted anything You don't have a cow. You know, marriages. Let me just show you how strong a woman is. Around the 1800s, if a man was going to marry in the sub-Saharan Africa, that's where I come from, and I've taken time to read the data that informs us of who we are. If a man was to get a wife, it was the duty of the arch-matriarch, the grandmother, to look in the kraal with the father to find the cows that befit this wife. And then they would go and find a bride, and they would say, Chamagiro, this is your wife. She was a child by the kraal. She would actually spend 2 days and 2 nights next to the kraal, where there were stones and cows and cow dung, and she spent a night there that she was part of them. And after 2 days, celebrations and announcements were made by the other family that we have brought you something, not a woman. She doesn't have a name anymore. And it is on that occasion that she would then take the family's name. And her job was welfare, wealth, and the estate. Take a moment. Again, think about why you married. Do those 3 elements come through? Wealth, welfare, and estate? Comrades, just think about it. We are having a conversation here. Did you take time to audit that? Think about it. We are marrying for love. It's a generation of nyash. Sometimes I get annoyed, Elder, when I listen to these. I don't listen so much to Ugandan content. Sometimes my feed is detached because we have a crisis. We have a whole generation at stake, comrades. If you don't know, you better know. There is a generation at stake, and every man who is here and a woman, blessed who you are, you have a task to save it. You have a very huge task to save it. Some of you believe in God. I believe in the law of attraction. That as and when you're ready to receive some particular information and to go in the particular direction, the universe will align the right people to talk to you and the right content in the right place. Simple and plain. Reverend will call it God. But how ready are you? Just think about it. 7 generations from today, why should those great grandchildren say, one time we had a grandfather who sat down and thought about us? We all want to buy in Mbarara. I value relationships. I lost a friend of mine in Mbarara called Pole Pole. You remember Pole Pole? I came for the burial of Pole Pole and they were like, Pole Pole, who is this guy? But he would travel to Kampala and check on me. And I would travel to Mbarara, to Ntungam, to check on Pole Pole. Why? Relationships. So I want to look at your bank account right now. Just look at your bank account in your mind. Just take a journey into your bank account. Stay calm. I know it's a very tough journey. But let's just walk into your bank account. Look at the figures that are there versus the numbers of contacts you have in your phone. Temukorora. Take that journey. Just take that journey. The figures in your account today versus the contacts you have in your phone. And followers online. To those of you who are so obsessed with online followers. That's where the problem is. I just want us to have a honest conversation with our financial journey. Since morning, you guys didn't write how much money you've spent today. But you want financial freedom, financial liberation. And you have a liberation mentality as a country. Everything, Psalm 7 will come and fight. He came, he fought. He gave you the freedom. You're chilling. You're not part of it. You're not. How many of you here listen to the budget when it's read? Kafoko, and a few here. Others are saying it is all the same. Sindio? It's not the same. These elders listen to what has a tax exemption in that financial year. It's what they're importing. You're buying. Is it the same? So I think we need to have a very brutal, honest conversation with where we come from. Some of us come from very humble backgrounds. Very humble backgrounds. My jaja is the late George Temanju. But I don't walk around Chiwatule saying my name. My jaja, no. That guy was the hardest guy I've ever met. He told me, Temuina bi into one. Genda kora byamwe. My father told me from day one, he said, by the way, you people will be shocked. Have you thought about that? With all the wealth your father has, you know, when they grow old, in clergy, Reverend knows, the older someone grows, the more the church comes closer to him. Because the church wants part of that wealth. Today you cannot invite the bishop and the archbishop to come. But Herbert can call and they will come. You've never thought about it. You can't even summon a deacon to come on the birthday at your home. But the older you grow, the older the church comes closer to you because it has to get some of that wealth. And while he's sick on the sick bed, your father will shock you. Mama wawe mulalu. You know, this building and this can support the church. There is this project of children. This one I've given it to this circle. It has helped a lot. When you're old, you just want to give out. You're very generous. So comrade, you're in Kampala, you're in Mbarara, wherever you are, you're saying we have a lot of property at our home. Your father passes on and they read the will. All you have left is the official home. All the buses, all the big chunks of land are gone. You're back to square one. You have no time anymore. Some men go cuckoos when their parents die, not because they are deeply hurt. They are in shock to believe that they don't have anything. I'm that kind of father who can do such a thing. Because our generation, we feel we're entitled to our parents' property and wealth. We are very entitled. We actually don't identify ourselves by our names. When you meet people, they say, hey, that is Biaruhanga's son. They don't even know your name. Biaruhanga's? Which Biaruhanga? The one who owns the other, where DFCU is. Now all that line, all those are their buildings. Biaruhanga's buildings, not your buildings. Can you wake up to the occasion and you start to see that? And you start to do some things. Someone asked why men are not in church. Men are not in church because nyash is casual and can be accessed. Sex is casual. You want sex now? You go online, you'll find it. The dress code in church, it's like we're in a chivuru. Women don't dress to come before God. They dress to come before Andrew. It's very disturbing. The alcohol we are taking as men. This is my 10th year without taking alcohol. 10th year. I won't tell you it was easy to leave it at once. No, it wasn't. But one night I came back home and my son then, very young, he waited for me. I came back, by then I was a brand ambassador of a whiskey called Jameson. So they would give me a vintage bottle. And if you are going to party with me, whether my boys or my girls, I buy for you your bottle. My bottle is my bottle. In one night, comrades, I would drink the whole bottle and drive back home. Somehow drunkards know their homes. They will never meander to any other face. They will go to their homes. I opened the door, and when he was crawling to me, he realized I was stumbling. He took 4 steps backwards. That was the end of my alcohol. 4 steps backwards. It hit me that this guy is shocked. This man is so steady to be stumbling. What's wrong? Up to today, 10 years. 10 years. 10 years. It's a decision you make. As a man, you live an intentional life. Your woman will love you. Your children will love you. When you die, they are looking for the next provider. And the men who are here, let me tell you, especially those in my generation, your wife will trust you that you loved her when you've died by 6 months. Should I break it down? When I die, now, my wife will cry for the good memories and all, but then she'll wait for fools to come with children. And she'll wait at church, no one is coming. She'll wait Herbert to read my will, there is no other woman there. We go for burial, I'm a Muganda man. So we do the very last reading after 3 months. When it's read, that's when she will know that, oh, Andrew had even buildings in Rashamire and he has actually left all that to me. That's when she will say, my husband dearly loved me. I am dead 6 months later. What does that entail? Open your mind. Provide for your home, but above all, provide for you. Guys, take time and enjoy your money. Yes, we will tell you to save here and there, but you can't save when you're dead. Take time and enjoy your money. Change your wardrobe every 6 months. We have brothers here wearing boxers that even have a little bit of a tear. And they say, Chakora. Hey, Chakora. Sure, Tanya Gendo Jirava. Vests, we don't change them. Socks, we don't. You have a shoe, the only thing you've been very consistent with to change is the sole. And every 3 months when Barnabas sees, he says, hey, okay. Like, yeah, okay. Now I have a new one. This one is rubber. They even tell you new brands of sole. You're doing all this for what? For who? Guys, learn to take care of yourselves. Love yourselves. Anyone who does not love himself cannot love other people. The reason why you're always quarreling with your wife at home and fighting, you have anger which you don't know how to explain. Every time you look at your wife, he says, babe, Chichi. Your tone is like, don't ask. But the person you're saying not to ask is designed to ask. But because you've not taken time to take care of yourself. We are in a generation that has massage and all. Don't go for those ones of poor people. You know the massage of poor people, they do weird things in the massage parlors. You go to professional massage people. Let them press your body. I came to know of a company called Kunga. They come from Rwanda. They do physiotherapy using their hands, but they mastered the spine. When they were teaching me how they do what they do, I told them this is something weird. If a man has a back pain at the very lower of the spine, that man will never erect enough. That is 1. 2, that man will be tensed up every time. I told them, no, you guys are not serious. This is not true. They say, you go read about it. Men, find time and go and take care of your body. How many of you exercise here every morning? By show of hands. 1, 2. Others, what are we on? You're not physically fit. You're not physically fit. You sleep, you wake up, you shower, you run, you sleep. You're always on the phone. So there is one thing I'll tell you for a fact. You can't have financial literacy and financial independence when you have bad health. It won't happen. My father runs past my house every morning at 6, every day. My father is 78 years of age. Keeps telling me, bw'onootuuka nga weetaaga ojja tambula nanga I tell him nja kujja edda. Because my contract at NTV does not allow me to jog on the street. But I take time to be in the gym and I do my cardio. Let's think about it. Yes, you want the money, but the discipline on your zip, does it correlate with your financial journey? Man, we are speaking. Don't mind about the Kafokos and Abat here. Just imagine how much money have you spent on women since the year began up to now. The return on investment, sweat. We are leaders. A leader who cannot control his libido is a weak leader. Men, you're going to have your your wife's sisters stay at your house. They are younger. Their breasts are pointing where Uganda is headed than your wife. Are you going to behave? Are you? I'll tell you, my father taught me never to allow any woman in my house apart from my wife and my daughter. And I told him, say that is being inconsiderate. People are good people. He said, no. Any woman who is in your space and is not your daughter or your relative, the end goal is one. Sink the black. I said, no, it can't be. I told one of my friends, you know, James, mzee yangambye sikiriza muntu yenna atali mukyala wange kubeera wange. This guy had foresight. The maids they bring to your homes, where they come from, they are trained. Your wife won't tell you your shirt looks beautiful. But your maid will say, but Tata James, there is a way you look in that shirt. That's a seed. She won't say it again. The next time you wear a blue shirt, you won't ask the wife. You just keep passing around bros. Until when she says, bro, you're going. It has started. It has started. You start to look at her. For some reason, she's starting to look beautiful. Because your wife does not compliment you. We are in a generation where you, when you're pissed with your wife, you speak on WhatsApp. Good morning. By the way, I just wanted to tell you she has already left home. But the maid will have all the manners and the discipline. And that's where we go short. Men, when you say woman extremely humble around you and she's not your wife, watch your lines. It's coming. We are men. I won't sugarcoat these things. I tell you, you'll fear God. When that time comes, when this man is in discipline, God, for some reason, is on vacation. You won't think with your head, you'll think with your head down. Who is around your space as a man? Who is around your space? You have relatives. Your cultures tell you take care of your relatives. Take care of them from where they are. Don't bring them to your house. Protect your home. Protect your home. Relatives, I have very many. I have a very big extended family. In our family, I'm the last born and the only boy. I have 6 sisters. But I was groomed the hardest. But I don't visit my sisters' homes either. If they have a problem, I say, Chameka, Katulabe, Tumuyambirao, Tajja wano. Why? Information is power. Your relatives are going to put you on a burden of asking for money every time because you've given them access to information. The young girl and the young boy within your home is always taking back information. They call them, so how is it? They have a new car now. They even bought another land in Rashamir. There is another big ranch. So while you're looking for your money, who is giving out your financial information? Think about it. Money must be protected. Money can only multiply in spaces where it's protected. When you're speaking with your wife, I come from Buganda. When a woman is getting married, they give her a thread and a needle. And they tell her, before your husband leaves her home, check the pockets. If there is any pocket with a hole, sew it before he leaves home. Seal it. That's the thread they give a Muganda girl when she's leaving her home. Who's in MP so? Look at your wife at home or your girlfriend. Does she have any thread and needle model in her life? Does she seal your spending? Or she's just enlarging that gap there? Think about it. Until we have these conversations as men, I don't want us to lie to ourselves that we're going to have a big fundamental grooming of financial literacy. It won't happen. It starts with the mind, goes to the patterns, it goes to the behaviors. If you don't understand the financial pattern of your home, of your lineage, of your family, my great-grandfather was a trader in this, then the other great-father was another trader in this, it does not shock you that for some reason you're a sales and marketing person. Because that's where you come from. That's where your money comes from. Even when you're going to diversify, you don't go so far. You'll stay within there. What's that pattern? We're in a generation where we want to give children everything. Everything. I told my children, I have only 2 children, a girl and a boy. I told them they have no right to luxury in my house. No right. You're going to drink chai mokalu, afa fee. You're going to eat food that has been placed on the table without semantics. Now, you fathers, today you have semantics. It is a Sunday. How can we eat beans on Sunday? The goal on my end, have they eaten? You on semantics. We can't eat beans on what? On Sunday. In my mind, my question is, valid day. When you give every luxury to your children, you're breaking your legacy. Guys, I don't have any land title from my father. I remember one time I had a very big debt of 500 million. My father told me, what did you use that money for? I said, Njakubulira. He told me, you will pay. I said, yes, I will pay. But Njakubulira. He said, fine, I'll wait. When I was getting married, they gave me a dowry of 30 cows. You people in the West are very, very unkind people. 30 cows. And I asked the negotiator, does this man really want her daughter to go? I said, Muzei, at my age, would you afford if you're in my age? He said, I don't care. 30 cows, deal or no deal. I told my father, he said, Evo knows Marayo's this asura, ngatugenda. But my father has cows, very many cows in Chago. Said, Evo knows Marayo ngatukolachi. I was very bitter. But when I was paying the 15th cow, I called him, I said, Muzei na akasasa 15 nangamba yeyo mukazi uwo sinze gwagendo zalira. Today, fathers are picking from their own kraals to give out the cows. And we are shocked that we have the big divorce numbers today. Because there is no value attached. I didn't earn it. Anyway. If she goes, she goes. Tinkubasa, let her go. There is no value attachment. So as a man, first of all, what is your rhythm with money? What's your relationship with money? What's your patterns? Some of you are born again, but your faith is very weak. I want to challenge every man who is here. If you don't have a Muslim friend, find a Muslim friend who is strong in business. Take that person as your case study. You learn money. Muslims, Catholics, we are very good at holding property. Protestants are business people. That's what I was taught by my judge. You want to have money? Better never sit down. You want to keep property? Make sure you tell a Catholic friend of yours. Every time you tell them I want to sell, say atotunda. Protestants, they're business people. Bagalachi. Chigenda kola chiteji. Let's run that. Those are the religions. Take time and audit the religions you believe in. But of all those, who do you have that anchors your finances? Someone to hold your hand. Let me tell you, every young man who is here like me, you're not going to make money until you clip your wings before someone who has seen money. Simple and plain. Until you see someone who has done what? Who has seen money. Because you can only be built when you're allowed to be broken. Now when you come and you're proud and you say, you know, I've studied IT, you're speaking English, you know, I know why this is going. The old man will look at you and will know you're going to burn the money. Humble yourself. It's painful. But we have to. Anyone who does not have a mentor in business cannot sustain wealth. Don't look for money. Let's start to look for wealth. And I'll tell you what wealth is. Relationships. I don't know how much I can emphasize it. My personal pastor is in Palisa. He's called Walusimbi. Every month I drive my car to Palisa in the east. I've introduced my children to the people in the east. I go to Arua every quarter to meet a family which has embraced my family. Why? And my son keeps telling me, why? The first time we came with Mandela to Rashamiri, I was like, now we are not reaching. I said, this is the cost of my relationship with the people we are going to visit. Now you're going to do the math. Let me see, fuel. That is close to 600. Let me see. Accommodate. I will make a call. When you're in your 20s, the people who will help you around your 35s and 40s, you make them in the 20s. When you're in 30s, the ones who are going to stick with you in the 50s, you make them when you're 30. So who do you have in your circle? And what are they doing? What are they doing? I have very many friends who are celebrities in Kampala. They can't access me anymore. I told them, you know, you're my friend, but you fuck a lot. There is one I called. I told him we are going to have tea. And he said, what is it about? I said, I want us to have this as the last tea we are having. You're not welcome at my home anymore. You should not call me unless you're dying. And ask me why. I said, I'm done being at police every now and again, bailing you out. It's damaging me. So you can say, Muyira wo mubiri blood wange. Police looks at you as another person as well. Society will look at you differently. There is no time. We have no time. The man you are today, I'm not sure you're going to be the man you are in the next 10 years. But how intentional are you? What is your discipline with money around women? I don't carry cash. I learned that from my wife. These wives, some of them are good when you bring them on board. Some. Please note the word some. I realized when I had cash, I would be spending. I would be happy. And I would find my driver. He said, what are you? She said, Andrew, you have a weakness of giving. We are going to give in a structured way. So you don't move with cash. I don't. It has helped me to have my financial discipline. I write what I've spent every day. And what am I earning every day? Sometimes I'm at work and I say today I'm not going to eat. Why? Because I learned from a Muslim friend that every Tuesday and Thursday it's very, very, very advisable to starve your body. Muslims fast every Tuesday and Thursday. They remind themselves that all this is vanity. How many of you fast unless they have announced in the church that there is fasting? Lent season is here. Your body needs to work on a different energy. Some of you have poor health. You drink sugar every morning. And yet you know that when you drink sugar, your sugar will block your insulin will turn into fat. Big belly. Do you realize as a man you work better on an empty stomach up to 1 p.m.? Have you taken time to try it? Wake up in the morning, just take warm water with lemon. You'll start to feel hungry at 1 p.m. The elders, don't try it. You've passed that. But the young ones, try it. You'll be shocked how your mind is going to work. High performers. There is a model, and every time I mentioned it on X, some men would say like those things are not applicable. If you're a man and you want to actively achieve what you're going to achieve, starve your body from sex. It's called the sex retention model. It is used by high performers. Globally, the highest person who does it is President Putin. They ask him, what makes you think this? Say, I practice semen retention. Every time a man ejaculates, he weak. You find a guy smiling every morning like, church woman. They just don't even know. And you ask them around noon, what was the just? Where to leave? He doesn't even, his mind is totally off. Starve your body. And for them, those who are not informed, they run with it like they're superstar. And a wiki in Kubia Buna. Buna. But if you starve your body, sex as a man, you'll tag me on that tweet and you say, I've now seen where the power is. Because your semen testosterone is going to be converted into high-performing thinking. Everything you've been saying it's not working, for some reason you're going to see it working through. You're going to have clarity on what you're mapping out. Leaders do that at the highest level. Feno ku ground tuchikuba buli lunaku paka kuwulira bubi. Because we are not informed and we are not listening, we are not researching. Women benefit a lot from sex than you as a man. Take time and unplug from that. Take time as a man and you make sure that you hold your body accountable. When I say semen retention, it does not mean just sleeping with a woman. Don't even masturbate. 1 month. Don't, even when you feel the urge, just go and do something else. Go to the gym. Start to write down. How many of you write your thoughts every day? But you people, how about?
That's why you are here.
Guys, okay, now this is serious. Never sleep before you've wrote what your day was like. If I'm to ask someone randomly, can I have a microphone move around? We can use this. The moderator will help me. Let me ask the guy in the tie there. The guy in the tie there. Let's ask the guy in the tie there. What did you do on Monday at 11 a.m. this week?
Monday at 11 a.m.
We can't hear you.
I don't recall.
You don't recall.
Yes.
That's how life is. Men, you can have your phones, you're going to type, always have a notebook and a pen. A man does not sleep until he has accountability of his resources per day. He doesn't remember what he did on Monday. Today is a Thursday. Wednesday. He does not remember. Imagine how much life you've lived without writing it down. Just imagine that. And I ask you that, do you know 7 generations before you and you don't know? You know why? Because they didn't write it anywhere, anyway. Part of the presidential protocol, if a president passes on, all his notebooks must be placed in a bunker and closed. All his notebooks, not all his notebooks, bunker, closed, and can be accessed by only a few people. It's not old to always work with a notebook and writing. No. As a man, you must always sit down. Our ancestors speak to us even when we are sleeping. Do you know that? You guys are in Christianity a lot, but I'll take you in what we are as Africans. Our ancestors will always speak to us when we are sleeping. You look at someone and you say, I think I saw my judge. And they're like, no, you didn't see your judge. Like, I don't know, but here is, I don't know. The picture will come. There are some things you'll dream of. Those who read the Bible says that in those days, the youth shall dream and the old will have visions. And when your father calls you and tells you, I was sleeping, then I saw, the tone and the choice of the language of your elders says, I saw vision. You dream. And you don't write what you've dreamt anyway. You start your day, Monday, Tuesday. So look at your life. You don't write your day. You don't write how much you spend per day. You don't have a pattern of where you come from and where you're headed. You are living. And you're telling someone's daughter, I want to give you heaven on earth. Just, let's be very, very delicate here, guys. You don't write. You don't track your finances. But you always want to look a cool guy. What kind of life do you have on the horizon? Some of our parents and grandfathers cannot give us inheritance because we have not proved to them that we can handle inheritance. Simple and plain. It's not by accident. No. We're playful. We are very playful. What kind of man goes to sleep without tracking his day? No way back, no rota. And you're happily living, and every year you say happy birthday. You see, this generation is funny. We actually wish ourselves happy birthday so that people can join us in the chorus. Like we have not impacted people enough to track our milestones in life. We are absent fathers. Here I am. I'm in Mbarara. This morning, I made sure I dropped my son to school. And I told him I'm not going to be at home for 2 days. And I told him the why. Every Sunday is not for cooking. Every Sunday is for going to restaurants. We sit and I told him, I want you to learn to take your sister for a date and later your wife for a date. Why? I'm trying to buffer what could happen in case I'm not here. Men who are here, have you looked at your wife and how they behave with money and the wealth and the resources you have? Does it scare you to die? Because there's sometimes you look at women and you're like, yeah. Every weekend there is a mukol at their home. They are either bathing or there is a bridal shower. And she wants to attend everything and she wants to prove she has the richest husband. And you're spending. Men, the money you've not saved won't save you. Even when you call us for Harambe, the first question we ask, Odina Meka. Save your money. Learn to write your thoughts. And don't give access to anyone to that book. In my house, you touch my journal, heads are going to roll. You don't touch my journal. It's in my office. Do you have an office in your home? Or you're always on your bed? They are saying, I think we need a new one. How all your house is, an office, it's a table and a chair, simple and plain. Buy a plastic seat and a simple table, sit it in the corner of your bedroom. Write who you are. Write what you see. You can't track 7 generations from you, and they won't track 7 generations after you're gone. What was his beliefs? You guys are speaking English in your homes. Please speak your mother tongue in your homes. I will tell you this. The older you grow, the more you realize that wearing an African print makes you look cool. Does it shock you that these Habats and the others, it's on rare occasions that they are wearing, but they love to wear African prints? Do you know why? The older you grow, the more you realize that English is a scam. It's a scam. So take time and write who you are. Where do you come from? I am from this generation. I'm the 3rd generation of this particular family. Have you taken time to make even your children recite where they come from? In my home, as a Muganda man, every morning after greeting me, you sing 1 stanza of Buganda anthem. They know. It's not by accident. I'm informed of what is coming. The white man is trying to take away everything we have. And we think we are cool. We think we are modern. The older you grow, the more you realize that tea with lemongrass is better than cappuccino. You realize cappuccino is actually milk, just is being shaken heavily and then made with a little bit to come a bit with ice. It's the same milk you're finding in your kraal. Men, just because the safari ants are moving in lines, it does not mean that you have to sit in them to trigger them and provoke them. Money, wealth, runs on relationships. I want to challenge you to find friends who are 10 years older than you in finance, in marriage, in relationships, and in business. People who are 10 years better than you or ahead of you. Find them. I want you to write a couple of these questions before we go in the Q&A. What is your money mantra? How do I call a mantra in Lunya Chitara and Lunya Nkore? Mantra. I'll give you a mantra so that you can find a mantra. The mantra of Mayweather is I'm a champion. That is his mantra, right? So every time he's going to fight, he reminds himself that he's a what? So whoever comes in his way must drop. That is his mantra. What is your financial mantra? What is yours? Mine is I'm a money magnet. I pull money. That's my mantra. That's what I believe in. I pull money. I attract money. In everything I do, I attract money. That's my mantra. Implying that every time I move from my house, I am going to attract money. Who am I meeting? Where am I meeting them? What is the return on investment? My resource here is time. What's the return on investment? I attract money. That's my mantra. What is your money mantra? Some of you have money mantras of saying sente zibuze. That is your money mantra. Sente zikozechi. And the money will actually run away. Zijabula, because your mantra is telling them to do what? That's your money mantra. Hata wali sent. Tewali sent. Tewali sent. Your tongue is very strong as a father, the leader of home. Find time and find that mantra. As I'm finalizing, I want to ask you about your finance and your relationships. Your relationship with your parents, your relationships with your peers, your relationship of money, and your better half or your partner. What is your relationship like? Ask yourself that question. Do you have a financial conversation with your wife every end of your month? Every end of? Some of you buy food every day at home. I really wonder where you get the money from. Mutwe kusend. You buy food every day at home. How do you do that? You have a whole month to plan. Until we start to look at ourselves as a country, our lives and financial journeys won't change. A country has a budget that is read. A country has a strategy. A country has technocrats. And a country has an oversight team. If you're poor at money, allow your wife to be that. Simple and plain. If you can't, have those friends who are exposed to that kind of money for 10 years and above, that you're in position to be in the same rhythm. There is something called financial temperature, which hits us a lot as a generation. With financial temperature, let me have the microphone to this gentleman here. Sebo. Hey, it is you, I'm on. What is the biggest amount of money you'd ever want to have? And you say, with this, life is cool. Any figure, don't fear. Don't hear. Never come back $1
billion.
Eh?
$1 billion.
$1 billion. So if you want $1 billion, and congratulations, let's clap for him. If we give you $1 billion as what you've requested for, if I came and I gave you $10 billion, how do you behave? That's the answer.
Excited.
We run mad. So, as African men, we are designed for success, but we are not designed for over-successfulness. So we don't know how to handle it when it comes. You had a deal, you're selling my friend here who is selling cameras, the CCTVs, he said, I want to sell at least 1 million tonnage per year. And it comes, he sells 7 tons of CCTVs. He says, me, I'm done now. Now he's Mugaruhanga now he's like, now the next 4 years I don't need it to work. The choice of words, the language is called the financial temperature. That until you get to the figure you used it to, the rest of the money you're going to blow it. So men who are here, you are directly proportional to the amount of figure you have in your mind. Change that figure. Mwebare.
Wow. Beautiful. Mwongere bugaro. Mwongere. I've been following a little bit of what is coming through the comments on the live stream. You man, you have beaten so many people. Tomorrow be careful when you are going back. Thank you and thank you and thank you so much for this exposition. The men who are here and those online, we couldn't have heard this better than you, and especially this commitment that you have and in our time. So I'm just going to request that you have been taking notes, isn't it? You have been writing down. We are now going to have our dinner and have the Q&A as we eat. Okay? Is that fine? Good enough. We are not too many, so the service will take not many minutes. So now those who want to ask questions will ask, and we shall start serving from the behind the table. The behind tables, okay? Please, wash your hands, go inside the gate there, they will direct you, pick your food, come and sit, and then eat as you listen or ask questions. Is that okay? Okay. The online people, I think, Abaho, are you tracking them? If they are asking any questions. Yeah, but let's not starve ourselves. I know there is some tea that has been passing through, but let's make sure that we also have the food because it's already getting cold, okay? But at this point, as you go for food, I want to ask Fred. Fred, you are here. Come here. Chamagero has talked a lot about the Buganda culture. The culture he has is for that generation. You know, he normally says, my generation. Sometimes we don't understand which generation he is. Not millennial. But for us who have been here in the trenches, and especially about finance discipline, to be honest with you, Fred, that's why many people don't understand you, and perhaps other people here. What is it that a man can do, okay? There is the mantra that he talked about, those things that he can, those things that you did, and especially the mistakes you did that you regret that you did, and you would wish this young man never to repeat. Okay? Please. Me, I love standing because when I sit, my body goes down.
Good evening, everyone. I am Fred Kafoko. I own some businesses here in Uganda. I own Club Vision Empire and Vision Radio. And I also do, I build and sell houses in the USA. I started business when I was so young. I remember my dad took me to school, into Ibanda Secondary, and I wondered why a person like me would go to Ibanda. Ibanda is a village. And my father didn't want me to go to Ontari Ombara High School because he had seen me as someone who was stubborn, that when I'm near, I would get spoiled. So when I reached Ibanda Secondary, that school is in a village. There was no bread, no mandazi, no nothing. The only thing we could enjoy was the yellow bananas. So So at home we used to make bread, and I had learned how to make bread. So what I did, I made my oven, took it to school. I didn't have money. I got some money from my friends, the schoolmates. We bought wheat, and I made bread. So in Ibanda, a village, people didn't even know that bread would be made. Maybe they thought it was coming from somewhere. So whoever tasted my bread, it was so good. So I got customers from those friends who gave me the money. The school was not happy with me because I was diverting everyone. So I was called into the headmaster's office, and the question was, business and school, what do you choose? I chose business. So I was suspended from school. When I came home, my dad was not happy with me, was bitter. After he had taken me to that village, now I'm out. So he chased me from home, and he told me he would never ever give me his money, even when he's dead. So I got so scared. Started looking for jobs because I could not go to school. I didn't have money. I became a DJ. I loved music so much. Then after being a DJ, made some money. But because I was worried that I am not going to get money from my father, no inheritance, and my dad was a rich man. So I was mean with my money. Guys, a lot have been said here. I've worked now for 35 years. 35 years. I'm growing every day. Why? Because I did not inherit anything from home. I got so scared that if I spend my money anyhow, I would be in problems. So being mean is another lesson you can learn from us. Don't just spend your money. There is a writer who wrote a book that, why have you chosen to be poor when there is so much money in this world? I bought that book, and everyone was arguing that, is there money in the world? The way I know money, the definition of money is a medium of exchange. You have money, you can exchange it with something. Maybe you buy something, or you can sell and get. So here, this book was, why have you chosen to be poor when there is so much money in this world? So the medium of exchange, which is money, what is it you're exchanging? Are you exchanging a talent? Are you exchanging a commodity? What is it you're exchanging? Is it a service? So where are you going to get money if you have nothing you're exchanging? Albert and Andrew talked about discipline. We don't have discipline for the money. Young people, as young, you are so excited. Just 1 million shillings, you run mad. You want to buy drinks for everyone. You want everyone to know you, that you have money. But I want to tell you, the people who know money, they invest. You need to invest that money. what I do with money, every time I have, let's say, 100,000, before I spend, I would have made some profit out of that so that I can spend but retain the 100,000. How do you make money? They talked so much about friends, and you need to choose friends, good friends. And how do you choose good friends? My dear people, you need prayers. You need God to choose for you. You have to pray, kneel down and pray so that God can give you good friends, good people near you. Because not everyone who is near you is your friend or good to you. There is something we have, the silent competition. You will tell someone, I want to do business. This person will come and tell you, business is not going to help you. Leave it. Let's do something else. Then after like 2 days, you hear this gentleman who has been discouraging you is into business. So make sure that the people around you are really good people. Because you cannot make money if you don't have that goodwill. And how do you get the goodwill? Goodwill is an investment. You have to invest a lot in yourself, first of all. Everyone here talked about integrity. You'll never do business, you'll never get money, you'll never do anything if you're not trustworthy. If you go to Millennium Circle, you borrow some money from there. If you cannot pay it, the manager is going to tell everyone, and these days it's worth, because they will even put you on social media that you don't pay. So goodwill is very important. Invest in goodwill. How can someone build that goodwill? Be simple, be easy. Don't talk a lot. Be calm. The Bible is very clear that humble yourself, God will uplift you. Don't put yourself up. You're going to fall. Zahansi, Mononga, calm down. I have the money. I'm not going to shy away. Yes. But I can do anything for you. I can even wash for you as long as you're going to give me more money. Yes. I didn't tell you when I was at when I had left Ibanda secondary. I started making chapatis around, chapatis and mandazi in town. And up to now, we still do chapatis at Vision Empire. And people come and buy. The only difference with my chapatis that I sell mine at 3,000 and others are selling 500. But people buy them. Why? I do it with one heart. And those chapatis remind me where I came from. You need something like that. So every time I see the boy I taught how to make chapatis in Vision Empire, I remember where I came from. It was not an easy way. So please, calm down. How can you make money? Where do you get the money? People talk about capital. What is capital? Capital is goodwill. I only need 20,000 to start a business. What kind of business? A crate of soda is 18,000. If I go to town and buy a crate of soda and convince all my friends around me, all the people I know, if I manage to sell the whole crate, I will get 24,000. So my profit will be 6,000. Imagine if you are selling a crate of soda every day for 30 days, I will have 180,000. Can you imagine how 18,000 can make you the other 180? If I was to make chapatis I talked about, chapatis, you can make like 20 chapatis out of one packet. A packet of wheat is only 6,000. The oil you need is about 2,000 and fire. You make chapatis and sell. Where you've used 10,000, you get 30. If you keep doing those chapatis for 1 year, those are 360 days times the man I've talked about, you're a rich person. The challenge we have here, the young people or the fellow African, there is a way we've reached. Once you have very good clothes, you have a car, you don't want to know what is taking place. I've seen people very excited with these Subaru cars. Some of them have tuned them that when they pass you, you hear as if someone is shooting at you. Bullets. These people are just there burning fuel. And to have that system in your car, you pay like 1 million. Now, you've bought a car, 25 million. You've bought that gadget to terrorize people. It's not even paying you. And when you are in an accident, then that's when you start crying that you've burnt your money. Don't be excited. Even if I had an helicopter, I would land and be here, talk to you as I am now. Don't be excited. Life is here to stay. You're going to leave it here. And trust me, if you fail to make money when you are 20, you will not make it when you are 50. The time is now. Be humble. Maybe you have 20 years to come. If you are earning 5,000 every day for the next 20 years, that's a lot of money. The goodwill. When I was going to build a house, I didn't have money, but I had friends. So one person was willing to supply me with bricks, that whenever I get money, I'll pay. Another one was willing to give me sand. Then another one, the person I'd befriended, was willing to give me cement. He would give me like 10 bags of cement. I build. Then after some time, I pay. And even when I don't have money, I would pass by that shop and talk to this guy that I haven't gotten any money, but anytime I have it, I'll pay. And guys, when you are taking such things from people, don't commit yourself that I'm going to pay you on Saturday. No. You tell them, I'm going to pay you anytime I get money. Anytime can be a whole year. Anytime can be a week. Anytime can be today. But when you commit yourself and say, I'm paying on Saturday, I'll be on you. If you don't pay on Saturday, already. So please, if I come to you and take your things, I'll pay anytime when I get money. Now, in the USA where I live, I was taken to the US to be an investor. They're also looking for investors. You can't imagine. USA is looking for investors. If you have a good talent, like this guy who has won a gold, Chiprotich, they will take him and give him everything, the house and the papers. And the next day, the man will be a citizen of USA. Why? They want good people. So in the USA, if your integrity is zero, you will not manage. Because everything in the USA is not cash the way you do it in Uganda. You have a card, but you have a number, social security number, where they track you. You borrow money, you don't pay. You'll never, ever borrow anything in the US. But here in Uganda, I'll come to your circle, Millennium Circle, take your money, I don't pay. And the next day you go to another circle, borrow, no one tracks you, which is really not a good practice. Learn to pay whatever you've promised. I have a brother. My brother used to get a lot of money. I told him, why don't you build? He said, why should I build? I have money, I can sleep anywhere I want. So he went to Speak Apartments. Andrew, you know them. Every night he was paying $200, Wampewa Avenue. I went there to visit him, and I was, how are you staying here, paying $200 per night? And the man told me he was making the money, and he was there to spend. I got so scared, because spending 760,000 a night was not good. And he stayed there for almost 2 years. And I waited for like 2 months. He was in problems. The first day he told me, Sudiri is my friend, I'm helping him, he has problems. So I said, okay. So I was moving out of the country. I passed by him, and he was, your car will be going back to Umbara. I said, yes. I want your driver to come and take my children home. So as my driver was going there to pick the children, the Askaris locked the gate. And they said, this car is not going, not till when we pay. I said, to pay what? Said, this guy has been here for a long time, he hasn't paid. And me, what I did, I called the management. I had already gone, I was in Europe. I said, the car you are taking is mine. It's in my names, I bought it on my own. So please, if there is any problem, I'm not part of it. He said, we are not taking your car. The only thing we want is that the children must stay here till when the dad pays. But remember, this is the guy who was posing around that is going to help Sudiri. You know, when you guys, with a little money, you think you're going to help everyone. Be calm. Learn how to pray. Pray for luck. Pray for customers. Pray for that investment. God is going to help you on where to put your money. Otherwise, you are not going to manage. Remember I told you I was a DJ. I'm a DJ. So now I'm talking like a pastor. Because those who know me, I'm always at All Saints Church early in the morning. I work at night, but in the morning, I'm in church. And everyone is wondering, why you go to church? Hey, God is also looking for sinners. So I'm there. And I pray. Whatever I pray, God gives it to me. So, of course, it's a lot. I've worked for 35 years. I cannot download everything in like this short time. You guys, I know you are tired. We need to eat. We need to go. You have so many questions. There we go. I'm done. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fred Kafoko, for your insights and also giving us an opportunity to know where you're coming from and where you're heading. I would want to thank the host, Ahaka Cottages, the directors, Abat Mugumia and Aden Mugumia, who also own Aden Interiors. We are happy that you are here, and we had a good session this evening. We have been able to have almost 4 moderators, panelists, and we've seen them touching on the financial discipline. And this was mainly on the youth, as our topic is a young man's quest for financial freedom. So whatever they have discussed today is all about financial freedom. And for those who are here, if we are not financially disciplined, then we shall not be able to have financial freedom. For the youth, financial freedom is not about chasing for the big dreams, the big cars, the big... Chamage was talking about the nyash. That's when you want to marry. So it's all about being disciplined as a man and also having inspirations. As youth, we should be inspired by some people so that we can have where to go. There is a lot that has been shared, and for those who are listening in and those who are tuned in to, who are watching us on Revival TV, there is a session for question and answer. And I would request that you put in or you send in your questions. I will be able to read some. And for those who are here, after dinner or when the panelists come back, we shall have the session. But most importantly, we've learned that we need to take records of our finances. And this should not only be a one or a one-off. It should be a daily treat. To give you a recap on what was taking place, the guest speaker, most especially, zeroed on financial discipline. And we got to know that most of the finances of the youth is taken by, actually he said almost 90%, it's taken on women. My fellow youth, I think you should not allow an election to give you a direction. So from now onwards, when you have an election, you better go and play football, or you jog around, or you read a novel, so that you can get off that bad scene. He also talked about, actually he quoted, and also Herbert quoted, 1 Timothy 6:10, the love for money is a root of all kinds of evil. So, but he didn't say that money is evil. So money is not evil. But the love for money. So you might make bad things to get money. You might do bloodshed. You might do robbing of people. By the way, also borrowing loans and you don't pay is also evil. But the money you took is not evil. So we have to love money, but the kind of way that we get money should be the right way. I also want to thank Mr. Fred. I'm happy he was a DJ. For us in high school, we would actually run away from school, you go to Vision to get a glance and also feel, you know, but the youth would go for music. But I'm a witness that Fred goes to church, at All Saints Church. And I think he is also part of most of the projects that are in the church. He's one, actually he's a pillar. So this also gives us a refreshment or a way of thinking that even us, we can get there. Even the kind of job that you're doing, go and pray. You will be a better person. Already, there are things that are coming, or some people already are sending in. Okay, these are messages. There is someone in India who is saying that, yes, I'm following you. And this topic is not only here in Bara or Ataka Cottages. There are many people that are watching and others have tuned in. We have also learned that, actually I was also trying to check if my wife is online, because Chamagero said women should be knowing our balances. And I think I had not, she has some few accounts that she knows the balances. For mobile money, she has no PIN. But I think tonight we're going to have another session, me at home, about this. But I've also learned that we need to share our finances, most especially the behavior of spending anyhowly. And me, I came to Mbara, like I'm now 4 years working here. And there is when I gave a boda 2,000. I think he picked me from actually it was Kamomo stage, then took me to Mbara town. So when I paid, I found there some other guy who was coming this side. So I was like, no ntwara, zingai, inkumi ibiri. Then he was like, you want zingai? So I was like, nam inkumi ibiri. Niyo kutembesa, beyom, but twara kumi. So he was saying, I paid 2,000. So this person was saying, why did you pay 2,000? It's you who is hiking the prices in Bara. So I didn't know, me, I thought, because you know Kampala style, you can't go for 1,000. The minimum is 2,000. So I got used to paying 2,000. So, but I got to know that we are overspending. There is when I sat in a hotel and I tipped. Yes, I tipped. So someone asked me, you're paying for food and you're also tipping. Where are you getting money from? So for me, I think I was naive. I said, hey, you're not generous. These tips, actually, they also make the person at work feel comfortable. It's the kind of motivation of the staff. But I later got to know that I was, I think, doing it the wrong way. And I somehow reduced. So I tip 1,000 now from the 2,000. Here online, there is Stuart Mugabe. He's saying, wow, great. Thank you, the Mugumias, for this wonderful. For this is so wonderful. Please, can you make it quarterly so that you can help our world and promote young generation? Blessing, dear Mugabe. There is one called to Sime Jeremiah. He says, thanks, Adonia. Then Rona Natkunda says, thanks, Chamagero. There is Areta Timothy. He's saying, this is amazing. I thank you for the digital power I thought I would miss. There is someone asking, so for the technical team, guys, is this program on Revival Radio? That's Yona. So you give me the answer so that before I leave, I answer. Then there is Desire. Desire says, my money is for I and my wife. Dad says always. Then Duncan Dan says, Chamagero. Yo. There are many that are coming in, but Nwaha Bright says, this is very impressive. I'm impressed with the talk. We should have more of these talks often than thank you, Herbert. Then the last one for now is Jonathan Okero. This year I've heard more about finance more than 10,000 times. Who am I not to learn? Thank you so much. So members, you keep on sending in your comments, your questions. We shall also read some here. But I would want to thank the panelists. And I believe for you who are having dinner, don't have dinner and your questions also evaporate, we want to ask these guys, and then we also get answers. And then we also want to thank, of course, our promoters, for those who are behind this, Millennium Circle 2012, Sky TV, the Vessel Band. We also have Only Believe Events. Omuntu Wawansi, I think, is of Chamagero. Then we have Revival TV, Allen Interiors, and Kode People's Circle. And of course, the host, Ahaka Cottages. I don't know whether you are all back, so that we give chance to those who would have some questions, and then we proceed with this. But as we continue, we would want to know also, I also want to know your feel of financial discipline, as it has been brought up, most especially the youth who want to have financial independence. This is not something that actually it is a big topic, but it can be summarized, or it can be
mirundi gye twabeerako naye gye namusinkanako egy'enjawulo nawe nali nkozeeko naye, era bingi nnyo bye mumanyiiko, ng'era n'abantu abalala buli omu alina kyamumanyiiko. Wana amakya ga leero ndi ne mukulu we era ye musika waabwe, baŋŋambye
Revival TV, amagaro ngwijwire.
His Lord, His love, His powerful, His Lord, His love, His powerful, His Lord, and none can change His name. His love, and none can change His mind. His powerful, when He says yes, none can say no. He is Lord, and He will never change His ways, and never always. When He says I will do, oh yes, He'll do, 'cause He has all it takes to make you smile. He was, He is, and He will be kind, able, powerful, and faithful. He's God above all, creator of all, the King of kings. So let's put our trust in Him. So let's lean on Him. His Lord, and none can change His name. His love, and none can change His mind. He's powerful, when He says yes, none can say no. His Lord, and none can change His name. us. He says, come unto me, I'll give you rest. Come unto me, I'll give you rest. And none can change his name. His love, and none can change his mind. It's powerful when he says yes, none can say no. His Lord, and none can change his name. His love, and none can change his mind. It's powerful when he says yes, none can say no. Where your faith will take you is where you'll be. The Lord is able to do anything. The name you give him, he'll be for you. If you call him master, he'll master your problems. If you call him Lord, he'll guide your life. If you call him Rapha, he'll heal your sickness. The Lord is able to do anything, anytime. Oh yes, he can. His Lord, and none can change his name. His love, and none can change his mind. He's powerful when he says yes, none can say no. His Lord, and none can change his name. His love, and none can change his mind. He's powerful when he says yes, none can say no. His Lord.
Revival TV, amagaro ngwijwire.
Produce or graduate 30,000 students. Those are graduates. Now, how many employment or how many companies can absorb you? You can look at newspapers. I work with Millennium Circle. I think we just recruited 12 or 13 this year, but 30,000 have come in. So how many universities do we have in Bara? Assume that 30,000, we only have, even if there were only 2,000 or 1,000 from Bara district or the Western, they don't have space. So I call upon now these institutions. There is a Harrow Vocational here, Rentanga Farm School, all these other institutions. You know, you need to have a skill now to survive in this economy. The positions for us we are holding, Chamagero is here. You tell him to resign at NTV. He's not going anywhere. Because it is the one that is promoting him and he's earning. Now, how many Chamageros can we have? I work with Millennium Circle as a general manager. Do you think I'm comfortable to leave? And how many can, the circle can only have one general manager. So it means, even it has over 81 staff, they also want to grow their career. So for now, we need to have, actually now like the government that has changed the curriculum. It started with O-level, now I've heard they are now planning for A-level, how I wish they could also do for the universities. So that by the time the youth get out of the universities, they just go and become self-employed so that they can earn a living. The youth members here, I want to tell you that if you don't have financial freedom, there are many causes, or there are many side effects that you will get. One, stress. The other day, so Kachebe is saying that the other bridge of Katete, in a stress, think was an akfumba tamukazi. When you have financial stress, it's what Chamagre was talking about. You'll be quarrelsome at home. When you have financial stress, you'll be the worst performer everywhere. Be it at work, be it at home, be it even on the road. The way you walk, someone will see you and be like, this person is financially stressed. When you're financially stressed, there are things you don't benefit. You cannot sit even in the front line in church because you fear, in case of anything, you might not contribute. You lack self-esteem. Even if they told you that you come and take us through this, you fear because sometimes, you know, when you're financially stressed, everything on you is stressed. Your body, your mind, your soul is really stressed. Your self-esteem is low. So I want us, before we leave tonight, we learn the skills of how we can make money without seeking for jobs. Your network is your net worth. Let's learn the relationship of creating networks, not in hunting for money. That's why the rich don't go for money, but indeed they create networks. Chamagero, I want you, before you leave, you make sure that this lady here who has been following you also is added on your network so that she can maybe achieve her dream. I'm glad she has been asking for that. And as Chamagero comes, of course, we shall ask now for questions and answers. But I want to thank the organizers of this event and how we pray that we keep on having this and we keep on having the dialogue. So this time should actually now, let's wait for tomorrow as we go to BSU. I think they have almost the same. And we shall be glad to follow you and have a financial, stressful life. Thank you very much. I will hand the microphone to Chamagero, and then he starts also responding to questions and answers. Thank you very much.
Let's give our moderator a round of applause. I hope he has dinner. Oh. So I will start from where he says, your network is your... You can be networked, but when you're not connected. Have you thought about it? You can be networked, but you're not. You can have Kafoko's number, and you say, this is his number. But when you call him and he asks you, Ogu know her, are you connected? Just think about it. I love interrogating data. If you are connected, connection comes in the investment you make in the relationships. Check on people, guys. If you've not learned anything today, please invest in relationships. Invest in relationships. So yes, get networked, but stay connected. That's very crucial. Time for questions. The first one. There are those watching, so you will come here so that they can actually see you. Thank you.
Yeah, from the conversations we've had from different speakers, well, thank you guys. I noticed that all speakers keep telling, okay, from whatever they've said, I picked something related to relationships as key, now as far as financial freedom. But there is one thing that I've also realized it kept coming in, the issue of being an entrepreneur, etc. But we all can't be entrepreneurs. And so I'm wondering, someone is here saying, yeah, if all of us were entrepreneurs, so we'll serve who? So how do we balance that something here so that someone goes out when he knows, yes, I can't be an entrepreneur, but I still can be financially free?
Let's give him a round of applause. I miss, what do you do again? What do you do again? Social worker. There is something the moderator hinted about, something called a skill. You can be a social worker But what skill do you have possibly that we don't have in our country? You cannot be an entrepreneur at every layer. But guys, let's face it. We are Africans. Every house must have a garden. Right? And our national directive, if you're following the national strategic plan we're following as a country, we are looking at scaling on commercial farming. You can do some simple farming and you make money out of it all. But again, I don't want you to limit your horizon just to social work. I think I'm retiring from media in the next 3 years. I'm bored. And when I told my bosses that I want to resign, they were like, why? I said, I'm bored. I need something more challenging for me. And that's why I've gone back to study a lot more of CBT and psychology, because I want to grow old when I can still help people in my old age. It's about the skill. Today you're a social worker. If I dumped you in a country like Georgia, what would you do? How would you survive? Would you survive? How would you survive? So that's where it starts. Imagine yourself dumped into the darkest place you've never imagined. You'll either learn to fly, or to flap, or to walk in the dark, but you'll have to move. Now, it's that skill you need to find. If you're a teacher and you hear possibly you've been in the old curriculum, you go back, you sharpen your skills. The world needs better teachers. There is teaching online. There is a lot of money there. Whatever you do, please make sure it gets online. Everything you do, make sure it gets online. Whether you're a farm manager, you dip there in Rashamire, have a page that explains how farm management is unique from you. That way you're reaching masses. There is someone in India following this conversation. There is one in DR Congo following this conversation. This conversation does not stop at a hacker. It has gone global. That's the power of digital. So just sharpen that still, comrade, and don't fear to learn something new. 2 years ago, I went back to learn how to dance. It's funny how it feels. Some of you don't know how to dance. Do you know how to dance? You just know how to dance Afrobeat music. But dancing, because I would find myself in very compromising and embarrassing situations. You have been invited at a diplomatic dinner and they say it's time for dancing. They hit the glasses and you're there saying, Kenzo. I had to go back and get a skill of dancing, because there are some doors that will only be opened if you dance with an ambassador and you have the tone and the footwork. Get the skills, guys. Just get the skills. There are some doors you won't open with your words, but by actions. Every one of us here, the challenge the president gave us is to produce something from our homes. Besides juice and children, what are you producing from your household? Because I might say, I'm very good at juice. Does it bring in money? Produce something. Our country, friends, if you don't know where the country is headed, please look into manufacturing. There is lots of money there. The Usobozi from abroad is phasing out. Government is intentionally taking it out. Manufacture something. Manufacture something. Toilet papers, toothpaste. Some of you are doing liquid soap, but you're doing it the Juakali way. You go to Chinese machinery, they have that machine of 230,000. Buy it, let the machine do it for you. Get different flavors. Invest in that. That will help us.
So we are going to make the questions and answer session come to the close. We don't want to go beyond 10.
you don't clap in between so that we complete that prayer. After that part, I'll be telling you what follows next. We also request that you kindly put your phones in silence so that we don't have any noise or sound coming from the phone. Just before we begin, I request, I've seen Father Matthias Nteza. Welcome, and Father, just give us an opening prayer as we begin our concert. After that, we'll hand over to the conductor and the director, and we'll begin.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Almighty Father, we thank you for the gift of this day. We thank you for the blessings you have granted us. We thank you for the gift of our choir. We ask you to bless us, send us your Holy Spirit to guide us, and especially as we are going to listen to the songs of Christmas. We ask you that they may be entertaining, loving, and give us the gospel of our salvation in the birth of your Son. We ask you, Lord, that you may grant us this session. May it be loving, may it be harmony, may it always bring love, and may it be the best. Make this our prayer through Christ our Lord. And may the blessing of Almighty God, the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit come down upon you, many the now and forever. All the best.
Revival TV.